we move on to winter, 冬三月. Now, winter is the season of Chinese called 闭藏. 闭藏 loosely translated means closing and storing. According to Hdnj, winter is a time when nature withdraws. The ground will freeze, plant will retreat into their roots, animals hibernate, and so should we. Our life energy needs to move inward, not outward in winter. So what does that mean for you and me? In terms of sleeping, now is to go to bed early and wake up later. This time in winter we can wake up later. But the bad news is not that much later. It's about 1 hour later only. But for those who need to go to work or send children to school, sorry to say, you still have to wake up as early as sometimes 5 a.m., 6 a.m. So that means sleep more than usual. Why? Because we want to soak in ourselves in the yin energy, which is the night energy, which is the sleeping energy. So once it gets dark, wind down and don't feel guilty about waking up only after the sun rises. That's natural way of saying rest is power. So think about people who push themselves with early morning workouts in hot weather, cold weather, or late night deadlines through winter. They often get cold, they often get burnout, they often get mood swings. Their body wanted to store to conserve, but they spend their energy instead. So from the wisdom of Hdnj, winter is a season of conservation, a time to protect our internal warmth and avoid major losses of body heat, fluids, or energy. We don't want leakage in winter. We are often told to keep our bodies warm in winter, especially to avoid sweating excessively. So it's different from summer. Summer, we want to sweat. But in winter, we want to sweat as little as possible. Why? Because sweating, the sweat itself is actually yang energy. So we want to conserve the yang energy. We don't want yang energy to leak out. So we should minimize sweating in winter. And many people like to run marathon year end, winter. And that's where they sweat a lot. That's where they are losing a lot of yang energy in winter. Okay. Today, like I say, many people are doing a lot of irrational things. I'll stop here. Okay, others will, others may even go even further, jumping into ice water. Have you seen activities like jumping into ice water, like we have seen in Harbin and some other places? Cold bath, where people will cut holes in frozen rivers for winter swimming. Oh my God! So these practices might look impressive, and yes, some say cold creates heat. Yes, I agree, cold create heat, but there's a bit of truth to that, because TCM even say 寒极生热, which is fine. This is correct. Okay, but it's not recommended path for most people because your body will pay the price. So let's reflect on a sobering real life example. In January 2023, I think this is in Singapore. During the Singapore half marathon, a 29-year-old man collapsed just 1 km from the finishing line. Now, despite immediate help, he didn't survive. So, though Singapore climate is warm, this incident happened in winter, a season where, according to Hdnj, we are meant to conserve and store energy. Right? Yesterday, I said we should be looking at the energetic seasons, not the physical season, because Singapore, we only have 2 seasons, right? So it's the energetic seasons that we should comply with. So winter is a season of 闭藏, storing, resting, retreating, hibernating. So it's a nature's way of guiding us to slow down, to protect the kidney, which is our pre-heaven energy, the root of our energy. But when we push beyond our reserves, running long distance, ignoring signs of fatigue, we risk overtaxing the heart and the body's system. So this strategy reminds us, even in tropical climates like Singapore, winter still demands respect for natural rhythm. Now you might ask, why him? Why not the others? You all got the answer? Why him and not the others? So this young man may have pushed his body against seasonal rhythm, running hard, sweating excessively, and likely experiencing internal depletion before that, probably the season before. While others may have trained differently adapted better, or simply had more favorable conditions that day, his vital reserve may already have been compromised from lack of rest, overexertion, emotional stress, or even ignoring subtle body signals. So let this be a gentle reminder. Even in a tropical climate like Singapore, the energetic rhythm of the seasons still applies. Winter isn't just about cold. It's a time to tune inward, rest deeper, and train with awareness, not violating it. So Jay is asking, so no workout in winter or change to yoga or Tai Chi? Okay, no workout that will lead you to excessive sweating. You get it? I do what do you call that? Qigong every morning too. In winter, I also do Qigong. Okay, but it's a gentle movement that allows a little bit of sweat, which is fine, but not those excessive until wow, my shirt sweat, my what do you call that? Pants sweat, everything sweat. No, not to that extent. Is that okay, Jay? So the keyword, the guideline is no excessive sweating. Thank you. So just now, I briefly mentioned about others go even deep further, right? Like plunging into ice water, like we have seen in Harbin, where people cut holes in frozen rivers for winter swimming. Would you like me to talk slightly about this, or would you like me to skip this? It's entirely fine because this is just a deviation. Okay, Ken, thank you. Jay, I hear you. Okay, so let me talk slightly more about this. We call this ice bathing or winter swimming. This has become popular even in cities in China, Harbin, or parts of Europe and North America. The idea is that when the body faces extreme cold, it generates inner heat. 寒极生热. Remember in yesterday, we say that yin and yang, they can flip over when they reach the max. They can flip over. So yin can flip over to become yang, yang can flip over to become yin. So same thing here. Extreme cold, it can generate inner heat, and that's true but it comes with a warning. So for most healthy individuals, normal people, I say normal healthy people, jumping into icy water can trigger a shock response, leading to heavy sweating afterward, which depletes the yang, the exact opposite of winter wellness. Why? Because when we jump into ice cold water and then come out, the body may overreact, producing intense internal heat and sweat to rebalance itself. That's why sweating, heavy sweating. So this is a huge energy loss. Remember, I say in winter, don't go for anything that will lead you to have excessive loss of sweat. So internal heat and sweat that will cause huge energy loss. And for normal people, this may not be good. Okay. So for average healthy person, this kind of shock can be too much. It can disrupt your yang energy and weakens the body in the long run. Now, however, in special cases, cold exposure can help. Some people, especially those with certain heart conditions, cold water can actually be beneficial. Winter is ruled by water, right? So water is said to control fire. Fire being the energy of the heart, right? So when the body is exposed to strong cold, such as a cold shower or cold water immersion, this water energy, remember yesterday you talked about the 母能令子虚, mother can weaken the child, right? So this strong cold water pushes against the heart's fire. And when this happens, more wood, the wood energy will come in, more wood will be drawn into supporting the fire, especially the heart, to keep balance. For example, some people with some heart conditions take cold shower in the morning. They were told to do that. Or after that, by lunchtime, they feel hungry and they feel energized. Why? Because the strong cold boosts circulation, balances internal fire, and jumpstart the digestive system. Now, I must put a disclaimer here. This technique isn't for everyone. Okay, and it should only be used under proper doctor supervision, either Western doctor or TCM physicians, under their proper supervision. But then, sometimes it's too painful to shower with cold water in winter. Singapore is okay, but in other country with winter, sometimes it's too painful to shower with cold water in winter, right? And yes, jumping into an icy bath is extreme and not suitable for everyone. But here's the good news. You don't need a cold shower, actually. You can just rinse your feet with cold water. So when you go and bathe, don't turn on the heater first. Spray the cold water to your feet, the very first moment, the initial part, and then you can turn on the heater. Why the feet? Why the feet? Because they are the furthest point from the heart. So when you use mildly cold water, not icy, that's cold water will do, the normal tap water, bathing water, to rinse your feet for 1 to 2 minutes, that should be fine already. That should do the job of you go and jump into the ice bath. Okay? And safer also for a lot of people. What happens here? At first, it feels a bit cold, freezing. But after a few seconds, your body begins to generate heat from within. This is the principle of cold extreme generating heat, 寒极生热. So your feet start to warm up and your heart's energy gets activated. So this is a gentle, effective way to support your cardiovascular function, especially useful, in winter when we want to follow nature's way of conserving and storing energy. So this is a great example of how seasonal energies like the winter's cold can be used to support health when we understand nature's rhythm. Now, for those people who suffer from cold feet all year round, you don't need herbs actually or medication. Just use your regular cold tap water. Start by rinsing your feet in cold water. The cold tap water, not turning on heater. About 1 minute or 2. At first, like I say, it feels icy, your body shivers, fine. But something magical happens after a minute. Your feet will begin to warm up from the inside. So it's not the water that changed. It's the water is still cold. But your body, your internal energy has started to respond. Okay, so that I've said this is the principle of extreme cold give birth to internal heat. So you can always try this. Okay, try this. No drugs, no fancy tools, just cold water. Let the ancient method activate your inner fire. So in the cold season of winter, our energy turns inward. Nature slows down, animal hibernates, and trees start to shed their leaves. As part of this natural rhythm, we too must practice emotional conservation. So the classical wisdom says in winter, the heart should be calm, the spirit collected, and the mind free of excessive desire. This means if you feel disappointment or sadness, acknowledge it, accept it, but don't let it overflow. Let go of unnecessary ones. Stay peaceful, stay inward, stay mindful. Think of it like tending a fire. Too much wind will blow it out, but with gentle care, it stays warm and steady. So this winter season, now we're stepping into winter season already. Give yourself permission to do less, feel more, and keep your emotions quietly grounded. And try the the cold feet water. If you sweat excessively in cold weather, so Jay, listen here. So if you sweat excessively in cold weather, your body loses precious young energy, and the kidneys already under seasonal stress become weakened. And when that happens, you might start to feel muscle weakness, early signs of atrophy, constant sense of fatigue, or a lingering brain fog and low vitality. So, according to Hdnj, the wisdom of winter lies in conservation. It is a season of storage and preservation, not releasing wastefully also. So winter is ruled by the kidney, the organ responsible for your life force, and that is the pre-heaven organs, and the energy reserve. That means wake up later, 1 hour later, sleep early, avoid heavy sweating, and collect and calm the heart.